Hello and welcome to another episode of the Born Too Late podcast, where I, Jay Castro, and my friend here, Josh Rutledge, talk to musicians, journalists, broadcasters, label owners, or anyone making a fuss in the world of underground music right now. Josh, tell us who we've got on tap tonight.
Well, on this episode of the Born Too Late podcast, we are thrilled to be speaking with Jamie from the Montreal based label Reta Records. You may also know Jamie as the bass player for Pale Lips, who have been my favorite band of the last several years. Jamie launched Reta Records in 2019 and has released singles by some of the best punk and rock and roll bands out there, such as the Sorels, Bambies, Sister Susie's, and Haley and the Crushers, just to mention a few. When it comes to Reta Records, you could expect certain things every time. Smash hits in the 7-inch format, released on multiple colors of vinyl. Of course, as a member of Pale Lips, Jamie has been a huge part of some of my favorite records of this century. She's made her mark as a musician, songwriter, label owner, and all-around quality human. It is a joy to welcome Jamie to the program.
Yay! like the reminds me of like I remember on the Muppet Show when they'd introduce the people and then Kermit would go, "Yay!"
Yay!
When every day's feeling like a Monday morning, staying out late, kinda gets boring. Do what you wanna when you wanna do something now. I'm getting older by day, younger at night. I need a little something to feel alright. Yeah, do what you wanna when you wanna do something now. Yeah, you do what you wanna when you wanna do something now. Chances are you made some choices, but not here nor in a voice.
So welcome to the program, Jamie. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for having me.
So I just wanted to talk a little bit about running a record label. I think that's got to be a lot of hard work. So what was it that made you actually want to do this and start your own record label?
Sure, yeah. I mean, obviously, as a musician and a lover of vinyl, it's always kind of a dream, I'm sure, for most people to, make their own product and help other bands out when they can. I always kind of wanted to do that just because when we started putting out records, we were really fortunate to have some great labels back us. And I just kind of like looked up to them, like people like Marco from No Front Teeth or Carlo from Surf and Kai or the guys from Hosehead Records that helped us out right from the beginning. I really looked up to them and I kind of was like, you know what, like this is great, but these are all dudes. Like it'd be sweet for like a girl to maybe kind of do the same thing, And so I always kind of wanted to, but I never really had the money or the time because I was in university and, touring with the band, working full time. And then a few years ago, my mom passed away. And I kind of thought like the best thing to do would be to start a record label in her honor and name it after her and just put out some like great music that I love. And that's what I did.
That's cool. I think the first time I heard you guys was on No Front Teeth.
Yeah,
It was that 7-inch.
Exactly. That was our first 7-inch. That came out, I want to say in 2016 or 15, maybe. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, that was our first thing that we released.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool that he did like such a departure from like the usual sound because I used to. I mean, they're a label I used to just buy everything from. Like I don't even care. And so I remember I got your 7-inches and your 7-inch, and I played. I'm like, that's different, I was like, but and like that he took a chance on something different than what he usually puts out.
Yeah, I'm happy he did too. I think that the connection that was made there was because our drummer Lynn's brother, was played in a band called the Briefs, which I'm sure everyone knows. And he kind of like connected us with Marco, if I remember correctly. And then Marco heard it and he was like, "Yeah, this is great. Like, let's do it." And we couldn't have been happier.
Yeah, I remember he put out another band called like the Recordettes that was around that time. That was also, I don't know why I'm telling you the history of No Front Teeth Records.
That would be a long episode.
Totally.
But so speaking of your record label, can you tell us a little bit about the newest 7-inch that you guys put out? The do you pronounce it Quam? Is it pronounced Quam?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Quam. And,
Josh and I both really like that 7-inch. I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit about it.
yeah, I'd love to. Thank you so much. So I actually saw Quam for the first time playing at Pooza Fest here a couple years ago, and my friend Greg had turned me on to them, and I just like fell in love with their energy and their sound. And so I hit them up, and I was like, hey, I met you guys at Pooza. I'd love to do a record someday. And then, like kind of some time had passed, and then I ended up chit-chatting with the singer, Felicia, I think via actually Alex from What's Up Rocker Radio.
Mm.
And he kind of hooked us up. And then I started talking with her, and she's like, oh my God, yes, I remember you. Like, let's do this. And they sent me, I think it was 4 or 5 songs. And I picked the 2 that I thought, kind of fit with the label the most. And yeah, we pressed a record. And the single, the A-side, is called IDC, which stands for I Don't Care. And it's so catchy. They did a really cute little video for it. And then the B-side is Little Bliss, which is like a little bit more like kind of 90s. But I love it. I love that band. I can't say enough about them.
I didn't know there was a video for that. I'm gonna have to watch that.
Yeah,
It's cool.
Yeah,
oh wow!
I believe that Felicia actually like kind of directed it and did all the work there. So it's very DIY.
Cool.
Yeah.
Look at that.
It's a smash hit.
That's right.
We were talking before the show that you're putting out the smash hits for the kids, and we are huge fans.
We are not.
One thing I wanted to talk about.
Like it.
I want to talk about the fact that every one of your releases, you always have these cool colors of vinyl, and like, really like beautiful looking records. So I just wondered, like, who gets to pick that? Do you pick that? Does the bands pick that? How do you come up with those ideas?
Usually, it's a pretty collaborative process throughout every part of releasing a record with a band. But picking the colors is something that we usually do together. Clampdown out of Vancouver is the pressing plant that I use. And they have an incredible eye for making colors match with artwork. And I've been very happy with everything that they've sent to me. Everything matches really nice and looks really cool, and the colors really pop. And they really match not only with like the artwork, but with like the feel of the record, I find.
Yeah, that's the thing that's always interesting. It's like it always kind of matches. Well, not matches, but like you said, it complements. But so I'm curious, Jamie, about like people in your life who are not in the world of music, like friends, family, coworkers, or whatever. Do they ever ask you about your label or your bands? And if so, like, what do you tell them? Like, what do you tell them about like what kind of music it is or whatever?
I mean, I'm so lucky that everyone in my life is so supportive of all of my projects. Like even my boss at the restaurant, he will buy every song that we release on Bandcamp just to be supportive.
Wow.
And like I've worked at the restaurant on and off for 6 years, and they always have supported me when I go on tour, and welcoming me back after a month. That's not always the easiest thing to do. My neighbors and my family and my close friends, they all buy our shirts and wear everything. They buy the records. Everyone is super, super supportive.
That is really nice. Oh my gosh. Nobody of my coworkers has any of my Born Too Late pins.
Well,
it's like, Jay, what kind of podcast do you have?
Maybe they will.
They better.
What kind of
after they hear this?
Yeah, I'm gonna threaten to quit.
What kind of bands do you interview, Jay? So I wanted to talk a little bit about technology. It's very interesting to me because you see people complaining all the time about, there's too much Spotify and too much downloading and streaming,
Mm.
and no one's supporting the physical product. But it seems like, at least in our world, that there is a love for the physical product. And I just look at your releases, and you seem to be able to sell them and find the fans for these releases. So yeah, how do you view technology, considering that your label is based on vinyl?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a vinyl only label, or yeah, I'm a vinyl only record label. I don't do like tapes or anything like that. I do make all the releases available on Bandcamp, and if the band would like me to, I put them on Spotify and Apple Music too. Um, I think it's necessary. I mean, every time I leave my house, I have my headphones in. So I think it's definitely necessary. And honestly, like if you make a good product and you have good music, people are going to support you, and that's just how it's been for the label. The hardest part actually about running the label has been trying to get record stores to carry the records. It's not selling them to people online, but it's actually getting like physical stores to carry them, because I think that, well, this is just my opinion. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think that a lot of stores are used to getting their product for a much cheaper price than I'm able to offer as like a one woman, tiny label that makes 300 copies of every record. But I do think that technology is important, and I think especially when building an audience, not just for the label but for bands, you know, having a Bandcamp page and lots of followers on Bandcamp or on Instagram or Facebook, it's important, and it's necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you a sub question.
Sure.
Is there something about, is there a reason why you do vinyl only and not like CDs and tapes? Is it just,
Yeah, I like records. That's it. I don't have a CD player. I don't have a tape player. I love records. That's it.
Yeah, I've
yeah,
been
that's a
wondering
good
that
question.
too.
That's a good
When
answer.
we're preparing for
Hold
this
on just a
interview, I'm like, is this reflective of you as a music consumer? I'd say that apparently
Yeah,
the answer is yes.
absolutely. I mean, like even if I do download a record online, like if I see the band or if I see the record for sale through a label, I'll buy it. Like I like having the physical media. To me, it's a really important part of music is the actual physical media, and not just the vinyl record itself, but the artwork, the inserts, uh, everything else that comes along with a record, like a poster or something like that. Like that's something that I always try and include with my releases is a poster as well, just because I think it's something fun, it's something interesting to like open up and look at and like consume with the music.
Were you guys talking
Yes,
about
that
like
whole
covers?
package.
Yeah. Yeah, or like stickers, pins, stuff like that. Pins are a little bit harder because sometimes they can warp the record when you ship them.
Oh,
But posters or stickers, stuff like that. It's always nice just to have like a little something extra to consume while you're like consuming the music.
yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. It's always fun. Like I remember um yeah, I remember a few bands had pins, but I remember like trying to think of some like the rip-off records stuff I used to get had posters in them.
Mm.
I remember like the Drags LP had a poster in it,
Nice.
and the No Talents LP had a poster in it. But anyway, yeah, I was like, yeah, score.
Yeah,
So
I like it. It's cute.
what's that?
I think I like stuff like that. It's cute and it just like adds a little something extra.
Yeah, for sure. So I was wondering if you could tell me about another band on your label. Can you tell us the first time you heard the Sorels
Yeah,
and what your reaction was?
I absolutely remember this very vividly, actually. They were first released, the song She's in the Gang, on a compilation uh, called This Is Pop. I think that's what it's called. All right.
Oh yeah,
Sounds familiar. Uh-huh.
This Is Pop Volume 1, and it was released by Ben from The Real Sickies, who he's got a real ear for good music, that's for sure. And he asked Pale Lips to be on the comp, And we said absolutely. And when I put it on for the first time, I heard the song She's in the Gang, and I was like, what is this? It's so refreshing and it's so catchy. And these are girls. Like, I fell in love with them the second I heard that opening guitar riff. Like, for real.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Ben on the other day, and I don't know if it's what's that?
I said, that's awesome.
No, not the other day, but a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
I guess to some people maybe it would seem like a couple episodes ago, but yeah, super nice dude. And yeah, the that comp is great. So another sub question, besides your own, I know we've been talking about your label a lot, but besides your own label, what are some of your other favorite labels that are out there right now?
Yeah, I mean, I got a few. I mean, Alien Snatch consistently puts out amazing records.
Great,
They
yeah.
put out our record. They put out the Dangerines record, which I really love. There's a few like smaller labels that I really love too, like Snappy Little Numbers, Red on Red, Rumbar, Drunk Dial. Of course, Surf and Kai, Snap. What am I missing here? Oh yeah, Wild Honey.
Oh, Italy, right? They're Italian, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the guy who runs that label his name's Franz, and he's also our European booker through Otis Tours.
Ah.
Yeah, he's really a great guy, and his label is amazing.
Yeah, lots of good stuff.
So I wanted to talk about the fact that you made a record called After Dark, which is my personal favorite record of the last 20 years. And
wow.
Just love that record. And it was so cool when it got reissued by Rumbar, and I got to kind of experience it again and sit there in the car and listen to it all the time. But I just think it's an awesome record. And obviously for you, as having made the music, it's hard to be objective about your own creation. But I'm just wondering, what are your thoughts on that album? And maybe why do you think people have responded the way they have?
I love that record. I love that record so much, and it means a lot to me and everyone in the band, I think. I don't know why people have responded so well to it, but I'm very flattered, and that makes me very happy. A lot of hard work went into making that record, and I mean, it's hard to think of what to say about it because it was recorded a few years ago, and we've all grown so much as musicians since writing that record. But I absolutely love it, and some of my favorite Pale Lips songs are on that record. That's for sure. Some of my favorite ones to play live or to like listen to. It's a little bit different than the first record, just because, well, we had a different producer. The first record was produced and recorded by Max from Sonic Avenues, who is amazing and wonderful, and we love him so much. And then the second one was produced and recorded by Ryan Battistuzzi, who he does kind of like all the rock and roll that comes out of Montreal right now. And again, just like a really good friend, and he has a way of pushing us very gently to realize like our actual full potential. Because I think as songwriters, sometimes it's hard to feel good about what you're writing, especially if the topics are kind of like sad or something like that. But he really has like a gentle way of pushing us and making us realize our full potential, I guess.
Yeah, just can't get over the lyrics on that record are just so good. They're just such a combination of like intelligence, but also humor, and just being able to have fun, but also say things of great consequence. So kind of brings me to my next question. I wanted to talk in particular about one amazing song, that Old Ghosts Don't Lie. I just think that's maybe the best song that Pale Lips have done, and really unlike any song that you had done before. So I would just love to hear about how that song came to be.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's definitely completely different than any of our other songs, and I think that that's probably because uh, I wrote that song in like a really dark time of my life. Um, a really good friend of mine had just passed away, and I would walk by her house all the time. And I was drinking a lot at that time because I was really sad and like didn't know how to deal with my feelings. And one night I was walking, and I swear to God, I saw her like walking towards me, and it was like the most. I'm like getting goosebumps right now talking about this because it was like the most chilling feeling ever. And like my heart started beating really fast, and then as soon as like I saw the person, it's like, oh, it's not Megan, and it just kind of like gave me all these like weird feelings. And that song actually took like quite a while to write, just because like I'd go back and forth between like being super sad about it, but then like being like, okay, no, this is like really good, like kindling for a fire, of a song. And then like with all the Philip songs, like one person usually would write the bones of the song, and then we'd bring it all together and kind of like make it our own. And then Ryan had some really great ideas about recording that song, like including the organ that's in there. Yeah, I don't know. That song is like really, it comes from a very, very, very sad place, and it is very genuine. And I don't know. I guess that probably comes across, and maybe that's why people like it so much.
Yeah. So I've heard that songwriting can be very therapeutic. Have you found that in more than one case other than just this? I mean,
Yeah, totally. I mean, like sometimes when you're like really mad at someone, or like even really like stoked on something, or you just like read a good book, you kind of like need a way to express it that isn't just like talking to your pals about it. And I think that that's like something really cool that you can do with music, is you can make a bunch of people listen to you and listen to your experience or your thoughts. Or sometimes like a song can be about absolutely nothing, and sometimes that is just like enough to get some steam blown off, I guess.
yeah, for sure. Um, so let me ask you about that Go-Go's tribute album that Pale Lips recently was on, and I think Sympathy for the Record Industry put that out. Can you tell us about why you chose to cover Get Up and Go, and like what was your approach in recording your version of that?
Sure. So Travis Ramin actually asked us to be on the comp a little bit later than some of the other bands. I don't know if he maybe just didn't hear about Pale Lips until like later on in the process, but when he had asked me, a lot of the big hits that the Go-Go's had already been taken. So he kind of gave us a small like little list of a few that he still wanted to have on the compilation. We picked that one because it kind of sounded like the most fun and like the most like us, if that makes sense. Um,
Yeah,
and yeah, it was actually very challenging, because the beats and the rhythm and even the vocals are different really than what we usually do, which is like kind of more straight up rock and roll, like Ramon style stuff. But it was really fun, and like I felt really good about myself after recording that song, because it was very challenging. And Ryan Battistuzzi also recorded that for us, so he again like gave us like some gentle pushes, and really made it sound awesome. I love that version, and I love all of the songs that are on that compilation. Travis knocked it out of the park putting that together, and I think it should be out on vinyl soon. I'm not 100% sure where that's at, but I know that as a record maker,
huh,
uh, I know that there's like crazy delays with the plants all over
yeah.
the world. So I mean, people can expect it to come out. I'm just not sure exactly when. Um, yeah, but it was a real pleasure to be a part of that, and yeah, I
Were you guys a fan of the Go-Go's
of course,
before?
of course, yeah, they're like they're like gods to us, like they did it. They were, I think, still like the first only all-female band to ever be on the cover of the Rolling Stone. Like, you know, they're it, you know.
Yeah, the Go-Go's are like that one band that is probably an influence on every band I write about, just about.
You know what?
Like,
You're probably very, very right.
Like outside of the Ramones, I can't think of a more influential band on this whole like punk rock, garage, power pop scene that's just going so strong today.
I would say like Nikki and the Corvettes are probably up there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely like the Go-Go's, I think I can definitely hear their influence in all my favorite bands, that's for sure.
So Jamie, I hear you have some exciting news to share about your musical world.
Exciting news, yeah. So Lynn and I from Pale Lips started a new project, and we've been jamming with this girl, Vera, who is great, here in Montreal. We're calling ourselves Taxi Girls at the moment, so unless that changes, that'll be what it is. But yeah, it's a really fun project, and you know, like we have a lot of passion going into it. It's gonna be like a little bit more punk than Pale Lips, but it's awesome. I don't know. We're having a lot of fun, so we'll see where it goes. We're hoping to record some demos in the next couple of weeks, and we'll put them up right away so everyone can tell us if they love us or hate us or you know, whatever.
Cool. That's exciting. You know, I was just going to ask how do you think Taxi Girls is different from any of your previous bands? But yeah, you just mentioned that there's a little more edge, right, to it, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit more punk. You know, like maybe a little bit more, because Pale Lips never used any like pedals or anything like that really when we played live. So I think we're gonna kind of maybe try and challenge ourselves and do some stuff like that. And also, you know, we're a 3-piece instead of being a 4-piece, so that's a little bit more challenging for sure. And Vera and I are also kind of like switching roles, and I'm playing a little bit of guitar, she's doing a little bit of bass. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's let's see. You know, I'm walking into this project with an open heart and an open mind, and I think it's going to be, well, I mean, it is really fun, but I think that a lot of people are going to enjoy it. I hope, anyway.
I am very excited, looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Cool.
Jay and I will definitely be contacting each other when those demos go up. It's like, hey, man, did you hear that?
Awesome.
So I kind of like to sometimes sneak in an unscripted question.
Okay.
Particularly when we have guests from the great nation of Canada.
Oh, yes.
And it just seems to me that there are maybe not such a large number of Canadian bands, but just such a high percentage of Canadian bands that are really cool. Like of all the bands that I listen to, there just seems to be a lot of good taste coming out of Canada. I just wonder, why are there so many good Canadian punk rock bands?
It's in the water. Yeah, I don't know. But there's so many good bands, especially right now. I think unfortunately COVID kind of killed a few projects, but you know, that's not going to stop people from doing new stuff. You know, there's a band that is really sick out of Sudbury called the Apets. I don't know if you guys have heard them, but yeah, I'm planning on hopefully doing a record with them in the next year. They're awesome.
How do you spell that?
I think it's, hold on.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I just want to make sure I get it right. Okay, APE. I don't know what that is in English, the little line. ETTES.
Ah, all right.
Okay.
Yeah, very cool. Very, very cool. So there's them, obviously the Sorels, Real Sickies, killing it. There's a bunch of really cool new like punk bands coming out of Canada too, like Chain Whip and the Imploders.
Oh yeah, I love all that Neon Taste stuff. I gotta get Josh. I gotta get Josh on here.
And I apologize for not including Neon Taste in my labels to watch because I it just slipped my mind. But yeah, they're wonderful and lots of really cool stuff. Even like just Distro, he has great taste in music, and I think he actually started a little pop-up record shop in Vancouver at their like flea market.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. That's what I've gathered from Instagram.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You have to ask him about that. Man, there's nothing cool like that happens here. But see, the thing is, I say that, and the moment I say that, I'm just like, well, I could do that.
You could.
But who'd get it? It's a bunch of
don't know.
bumpkins.
I don't know.
Jay's pop-up.
There's rock and rollers everywhere.
You're right. You're right. And it's almost like that Field of Dreams mentality. If you build it, they will come.
That's true. I believe in that.
I kind of do too. Honestly, I kind of do too. So there's no excuses for me to sit there and whine and go, why aren't we as cool as Vancouver?
You just need really good air conditioning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your area.
Well, like from October to like May, it's really great here. It's those 3 months that you wish you were dead.
Yeah. It's the same in Montreal. It's so humid, but I don't know. This last month has been awesome. Like we've barely had to put our AC on, so I'm loving the gloom and like the 24 degrees, which I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's
still pretty chilly, I assume.
It's perfect. I love it.
Perfect spring weather.
There we go.
In the early summer.
Love it.
Yeah, cool. Well, Jamie, as we wind things down here, where are the best places for people to go to follow your band and your label and buy the music that you put out?
Well, Bandcamp is definitely the best place for that because you can grab stuff directly from me or the band. And Instagram is kind of where the main platform is these days. I'm not super big on Facebook, but Bandcamp is awesome, and like the Bandcamp app really helps me get to my followers whenever I have a new release or there's like a low supply, like a low amount of records that are left. Like if there's like under 5, I'll throw a message up there and someone will grab them, which is great. But yeah,
I'm sure that Bambi's 7-inch is gone now too, huh?
Just about. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. They're so good.
Yeah.
They're also from Montreal.
Cool. Yeah. Josh and I were just talking about how awesome they were before we started recording. Yeah.
Have you checked out the new LP yet?
Yes.
Oh, so good. So good.
Mm-hmm. Great stuff. Well, you know what? I forgot my outro script.
Oh, no.
I have to bring that up. So anyway, Jamie, thank you so much for taking the time out and hanging out with us for a little bit.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I loved it. I'm happy to do it again if you want.
Anytime.
Absolutely.
Especially when Taxi Girls comes out, maybe you and Lynn can come back on.
Oh, that'd be so nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love that.
So let me do our little spiel here, and then we could, if you want, we can chat a little bit afterwards. So, on behalf of I found an old outro script, by the way, Josh. This might not even be the recent one, so forgive me. I'm so unprepared. So anyway, on behalf of our guest, Jamie and Josh and myself, Jay Castro, we'd like to thank you, the listeners, and tell you how much we appreciate every listen, every comment, every criticism to our humble podcast. And if you like what you've heard, please hit that subscribe button. And if at all possible, leave us a review of the podcast, because not only does it help our podcast, of course, but it helps spread the word on all the wonderful people that we have here on our show. So on behalf of Josh, we are the Born Too Late podcast signing off. I rushed that. That felt rushed.
Oh, whatever.